My only stress is that he has not heard everything. Like the gay revolution likes to withhold information. It's called the messenger of Allah because he delivers according to his agenda. Might be holding on to something juicy for, but they're going out of business. It's just difficult for me to reconcile him going bankrupt 15 times while these guys rape 84,000 Boy Scouts and make it a national landmark. Does he not know the owners? The busy signal? They probably screen their calls. With casino control and the Stonewall, people probably think he owns it. Gets back to New York after a weekend in New Jersey, puts his feet up at the Stonewall like, I couldn't wait to get away from those faggots. Stonewall's like, yeah, I know what you mean. Fucking casino control, am I right? Like, do the owners know what happened to us? It wasn't drugs. We're Jacksons. I'm pretty articulate for a guy that's been smoking crack every day for 40 years or whatever Nigeria had in mind. Why these guys are in such a big rush to do their bidding anyway. Oh, we gotta do this unsavory work so our enemies don't attack us. Who's gonna attack us? The Nigerians or the faggots? Casino control pulling double duty. So legend has it, they raped 84,000 Boy Scouts so they could extort our national parks. Basically sell them back to us like they were gonna, what are they gonna do, use them for dumping? They weren't for sale, and you can't steal our national parks just by raping Boy Scouts. Like, how would any of this be possible but for the United Nations? And does the DEA run that hospital, or is casino control, like, do they share an office? Is a DEA hospital or a casino control hospital? Talk about an unholy marriage. DEA know casino control has a hospital for tax purposes? Saying that the owners of the Stonewall know what happened to the Jacksons? Like, it wasn't drugs. The real DEA would know that. When I was 3 years old, I stomped on a billionaire's nephew and then raped 007. That should have been the end of it. Should have gotten a medal. When I was like 5, I got caught trying to give piss to an abusive cokehead. He was like, what are you doing with that? I was like, I'm gonna make him drink it. But I didn't explain he's an abusive cokehead, so they just thought I was into piss. As soon as we leave, they go and make something of it. 6 years old, I get raped in surgery. Maybe something about sarin gas just makes like cocaine just isn't as enjoyable as it would be for most people. Never developed a taste for it. Try as they might. Somebody lost a bet. This kid's dead already anyway. May as well fuck him first. Make-A-Wish. May as well rip off Make-A-Wish Foundation. Kid's gonna die anyway. And fuck him. And since it has to be, he wished for it because he was born that way. Now I got homos and fucking retards granting wishes. Not a word to my face. Is that DEA stuff? They do stuff like that? Media's worried about the Supreme Court. Russia appears to be under the impression I fraudulently claimed to have cancer so I could make a wish. After my first date with my first love, some homo told her I cheated, right? And me, knowing nothing, I presume she thought he meant on her. 20 years later, they're trying to kill me before I find out he meant on the guy who raped me in surgery when I was 6 years old. I got nerve gassed. DEA, you think? So there's a handful of doctors, some of them more actively liars than others. Some of them had to go out of their way. First, do no harm, or you're not even a doctor. Like, why we wouldn't be allowed to sue these guys. Supreme Court, Make-A-Wish babies, Yellowstone, Stonewall. Want to have Uncle Don send me a limo? Want to lift the injunction? All these years, Koch brothers talking about how the FBI grooms its own terror plots. How'd the FBI get stuck with the gay revolution? I know what you're probably thinking. Rape 84,000 Boy Scouts, so the rest of us are kosher by comparison. Nothing to worry about. Still a free country. But let's be honest, if the Pentagon thought that they were negotiating with somebody, it wasn't me. Because if they were pretending to think they were negotiating with me, that would mean they were in on it. I should have kids in high school by now. I was living on frozen surplus peanut butter and jelly sandwiches from an elementary school. I was nowhere anywhere near a computer. Doorman at various top shelf prestigious establishments. We can't find them. Vietnam was just such an atrocity. We're going to go ahead and sell out to the Nazis. How many Nazis do we have? Of the hundreds, if not thousands of people that work at the Pentagon, what percentage would you say are Nazis? The experiment is a success. There's no signal to the brain whatsoever. Washington. Earth to Washington. Do you read? Come in, Washington. Recognize a Nazi by their signature. Cruel and unusual human biological experimentation. I don't want to repeat everything. He is the president now. I'm just saying, full disclosure. Okay, I'm starting to kind of feel bad about some of it. We're going to try it this way. We're going to try and satisfy international due process, but what have they ever done for us? Last King of Scotland? If we could just get Geneva represented somehow, some way, if they're not going to do it, maybe somebody here could do it. I could be Uncle Don's liaison to the Pentagon. Only guy in the Pentagon with a gun. How's that sound? So what we're doing, Your Honors, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. President, Majesties, my lords, sir, ma'am, other, is we're raping little boys in surgery and calling them liars until they shoot up a school. And they do that by testifying on their behalf behind their backs and leaving them to find out about it in hell. Meanwhile, there's an unwashed zombie asshole apocalypse following the kid around, thinking he knows whatever. They can't just say it. Nobody can just say it with his gay rights, gay rights for the straight guy. I'd have been married at least twice. My first love, my one great love, a couple of mistakes in between. What's the one thing that they all had in common? So I've just never had a chance, because I don't know what level of technology the matchmakers get. How much do they need? Is it a NASA program? Find this endangered species a mate? Does the gay revolution have to have a bid? We could just leave that to chance. 14 years old, head over heels in love with this 17-year-old German girl. Oh, no, you don't. Not so fast. We're not done with you yet. Freaking faggots. And then the skinheads and the bikers think they had something to do with it? That's ironic. Corporate just doesn't give a damn, do they? So I feel bad making fun of young Uncle Don. I just presume he knew everything. He did it on purpose. I mean, I hope it was worth it. You can never unrape these girls. And the guys, you hear rumors. I guess at least if you're conscious at the time, you have an opportunity for revenge. So you see, it wasn't drugs. I've tried a lot of drugs for different reasons, experimentation, some spirituality, mainly because I was sick. Mainly because I got nerve gassed and lied to. And wait till I tell you who paid for that. The Central know yet? Or London has to know. So if you guys are sick of hearing the things that I do say, you wouldn't believe the things I don't. My IQ is a meager 118, but I just have a mission in this world, I guess. Call me a snitch. We're not affiliated, so that's just you taking a dive and pointing the fingers, what that is. What, are we all in one big gang and it's going to be Muslim pandemonium? That's how it's going to be. I have never sold cocaine. So what does that mean? It means you're not in my gang. I'm the law around here. Seriously, I've been begging Central Intelligence for some relief for almost 9 years. That's a Republican and a Democrat. Who's still trying to play it like it's a partisan issue? They're just going to mistake me for the other party. Democracy protects the rights of the minority by universal application of majority rule. And I can just go on and on. No one party or the other gets all the capitalism. So we're aware, news team, Washington has been a stalemate with North Korea since 1953. Okay, then skip ahead, JFK, Vietnam, right? Gay Revolution, Last King of Scotland, Roe versus Wade, Satanic Bible, colonial prisons. Everybody always asks, where's Washington? Nobody ever asks, how is Washington? So I'm going to go ahead sink more than half of my Social Security for this month into a fundraiser. If it works out, I might be up there before the next Social Security check. If it works out, I'm going to have to cancel Social Security. Either way, I'll be up there by the end of the year with a bullhorn. Washington, we know you're in there. We've got you completely surrounded. Drop the toddlers and come out with your hands up.